In this video I'll show you how to start making programs for the Nokia Communicator, and I'm gonna use this phone software development kit. So this is the Nokia 9200 series, beautiful phone. And well, we are some maybe 20 years too late with this video, but let's not focus on those kinds of useless facts nobody wants to hear. First, we're gonna make a Windows 2000 virtual machine, because the old programs that we're gonna use, they just simply don't work on new operating systems, for example Windows 10 or 7. And then we're going to move on to installing the integrated development environment Microsoft Visual C++ 6.0, which has a set of tools that we're going to need. And then we install the actual software development kit for the 9200 series, and then we can move on to building a simple Hello World app and install it onto the phone itself. But why Windows 2000, you may ask? Well, the reason is simple. It's the latest operating system which runs the programs pretty perfectly, and also due to the fact that the Oracle VMware VirtualBox supports it also very nicely. Like, we can have shared folders, shared clipboard, and all the goodies to make it as fun an experience as possible. So first, let's install the Windows 2000 operating system on Oracle VMware. You know, you can get these disk images from the internet by just searching, so don't ask, email or call me or anything. So you start off by installing Oracle VMware, then creating a new virtual machine, name it Windows 2000 for example, and make your own choices about the RAM and hard disk space. I'm using 1 GB of RAM and 4 GB of hard disk space, which is allocated dynamically, and that's plenty for our needs. Just click yourself forward and start the machine. Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit about Symbian programming. So I was about 15 when I became interested in it, and boy was I unaware what was ahead of me, because several years later, when I have got my hands dirty with this language, I found out that it was described as, I quote, sheer nightmare by the guys who had graduated from the university majoring in, for example, software development. So they knew what they were talking about. The dreaded descriptors, error handling and data cleanup were the parts that, well, while making Symbian programming very efficient and error-proof, it was hated by everyone in the scene. These specific programming gimmicks were invented for those ancient devices with little resources to run on. For example, Cyan 3A with its 7.68 MHz processor, display with 4 shades of grey and 2 MB of RAM. But yeah, now it's our turn to take on that challenge. The Nokia 9210 has pretty crazy specs. It's got a 32 MHz processor, a display capable of reproducing 4096 colors, and 4 megabytes of RAM, which is plenty. Crazy specs. Now let's install the VM guest additions, which gives us much more freedom. We can link the host machine's folders into the guest OS and use any resolution we want with super 32-bit color, so we won't miss a wavelength in the visible range of the electromagnetic spectrum. Sorry, I had to say that. I'm a light chemistry PhD student, so it's required by the law. Now it's time to set up a shared folder with the host machine and bring the installation files to the guest Windows 2000 from there. Also, tick these boxes auto mount and make permanent here. Now you can find the folder from the My Computer screen. It's the Z drive there. Now that we have all the goodies in our guest OS, it's time to install the first bit of software that takes us towards our ultimate goal. Now this is the Microsoft Visual C++ 6.0. It's an integrated development environment that will provide us some tools for the actual software development. You can find this archaic piece of software by just googling, so once again, don't ask. Alright, next up is the actual software development kit. As I said before, we're only focusing on the C++ part here. You could install the Java SDK with the same SDK pack, but we're going for C++ because we're a little crazy and pretend not to know how suicidal thoughts-inducingly painstaking it is to code with C++ on Symbian. So we press the C++ button and proceed from there. I'm talking about Symbian C++ here, but actually there was a cheat option for lazier programmers who just wanted to get their hands dirty faster and with lower effort. And that thing was called OPL, the Open Programming Language. It was a beautiful language, almost identical to BASIC, which is notorious for its extremely gentle learning curve. And the language was inherent in the Epoch operating system, and that's the operating system in the Psion PDA devices. And this Epoch later became Symbian. But it was this OPL wasn't included in the Nokia 9200 series originally. But fortunately, there were mainly 3 guys named Rick Andrews, Phil Spencer, and Arjen Broeze, who ported the language onto these devices, and also onto a bunch of other platforms as well. They were the true heroes for us, the early 2000s mobile programming geeks who just wanted to start programming hassle-free and fast. I'll show you how to get started with OPL in one of the next videos. When the installation is ready, let's speed up the emulator to make it quicker to open. So we might want to start with Hello World with a graphical user interface, just to see all the moving parts in this huge equation. So let's navigate to the Hello World example folder and see what's in there. Wow, that's a lot of files. You can take your time reading the help files and checking by yourself what these files are. But yeah, we're gonna need all of them for building this properly. Now we're going to compile the project with command line tools. Let's navigate to the folder and write bld make bld files. And then you write abld build wins URL, which means that the program is compiled for the Windows emulator on the release side, not the debug side. Okay, there it is. Now open the emulator and you'll see the app. Just go on and open it. You can use the enter key on your keyboard. Alright, you can press these buttons here and try the menu with the F1 button on your keyboard. And just close it when you're ready. Alright, here I'm just gonna make the file extensions visible so that we can see the file extensions very easily. Now let's change something. So open the RSS file and change the line which has the hello world text. You know, these resource files are the ones that usually have the text strings in them. You can do a nice localization with these files easily because you don't have to hardcode the texts inside the actual C++ code. Alright, let's try to compile it again. We see that the emulator is still running, so it cannot overwrite those files that it's using. We need to close that and try again. Let's compile it again and open the emulator. Let's see what we have. Yes, it reads, "Hey maailma," the Finnish equivalent of "Hello World." Now let's try to change something else still. Compile, open the emulator. Now we have changed a couple of things here. Next we can try another of these example applications, for example this info dialogues. Compile it the same way and open it on the emulator. Okay, it does this. Maybe a third one? Simple views. Let's see what it does. Okay, it's an application to draw some interactive shapes. You can change those. All right. This was enough of trying with the emulator. Now we can move on to the final task. Compiling the Hello World example application for the device and opening it there. So let's go to the Epoch Tools and Utilities folder. By the way, you can see the Epoch everywhere in this software development kit folder structure because you know, it's inherited from the epoch times. Yeah, so now open the hello world.pkg file and change the name to hello world. It's called minimal application, don't know why, so you can change that. This package files contains the instructions to make a SIS file, the Symbian installation system, which you all know it's an analog to an X file in Windows. Okay, copy the package file to a new folder that you're gonna make. Then go to the Hello World example folder and write abld build army URL. This command makes the application files for the device, and these don't work in the emulator and vice versa. Alright, now navigate to the folder seen here and copy the two files with the endings app and rsc. Go to your newly made project folder and paste them there. Then use the command line to go to this folder and write makesys hello world.pkg. Now we have the SIS file, which we're gonna put into the device and run it from there. So now we can install it inside the machine. And then install it on the phone and try it out. Okay, I'm gonna install it. There we go. And let's try it. Yeah, seems to work quite perfectly. So that kind of concludes what we were supposed to do in this video. From task 1 to task 5 we have made all these, and yeah, now you can just go and check, like do modifications to the files and check what they do. And yeah, the next video will be, yeah, it's gonna be about compiling Doom on this device, so stay tuned. Alright, see you in the next video, and happy programming.